I'm Marjorie Lamont.
And I'm Robert Lamont.
Hey, my name is Carolyn Gould, and I came to the church in September of 1964.
I'm Jim Gould, and I came in later 1964.
Hi, my name is Ruth Allen, and I came to Fort Garry Church in 2001.
I'm Liz Moore, and I first came to Fort Garry in 1987.
I'm Reverend Ken Delisle.
My name is Lori Jorgensen.
My name is Bob Glendenning.
Robbie J.
I'm Bruce Jacobs, and I came with Bev. I'm part of the package.
Mary Sexsmith.
And Don Sexsmith.
My name is Ray Nesbitt.
I've been here for 7 years.
1985.
1985.
I think it was in 1952.
I came to Fort Garry first time in 1992.
1978.
It's 1975 or 1976.
And my family and I started attending Fort Garry United Church in 1964.
My name's Bev Jacobs, and I was in the choir for 53 years. And we
came in what year, Bev?
we came in 1963, it was, yeah.
We're looking for churches because we have moved.
I have been a lifelong member of Knox Church, and I just decided to follow my sisters and their families to Fort Garry.
After Windermere had been closed down, and after a year of floundering, I said, we have to get the kids into Sunday school.
Well, my husband had a job at the university. We built a house. Where else are we going to go?
Oh, because when we moved to Fort Garry in 1964, our neighbors, Harold and Christine Curry, had already been long-time members of the church. So she invited us to come right away, and that same month we came. We've been here ever since.
Well, to be truthful about this, I came because they needed a soprano soloist, which they were paying for.
My eldest son invited me to come to church with him, and you don't say no when one of your children invites you to church, so that's when I started.
No, my refrain for the day is I come with Bev.
I came because I was hired to work with youth and children, and it's part of my training to become a diaconal minister within the United Church. I stayed for 2 years. That's contract finished. It was a very good experience. And I came back in 2013 to work with youth and pastoral care and help process into a new permanent position for someone else to take leadership in the church.
We came to Fort Garry Church for very practical reasons at first. It was the most convenient geographically. Well, we stayed for a very simple reason. We loved it here. We just liked everything about the church. The children loved the children's exercise, the children's activities particularly. We had 4 daughters and a son, and the girls just loved the explorers and the brownies.
We were teaching Sunday school for 10 years, and then came the Explorers group, which I had for a few years, and then came the Messenger group that I got involved with, and then came Unit 6, which is a ladies' unit, and that's where I made many friends and was there for many years. And in fact, most of the members are still coming, so we're still friends today. And then our daughters went to Sunday school. They belonged to junior choir. They got confirmed, and one of them was even baptized here. And then our youngest daughter was married here in 1990. So that kept us busy all those years, yeah.
And our second baby was born, Kathy, and we had her christened here, but it was not in this church. It was at the little old white church. As our family grew, we had another christening, and we had 2 weddings here. 2 of our children got married here, and we had a funeral when Jack died. So, we were connected for a long time.
Well, I liked the church, I liked people, I liked the minister. It was a friendly atmosphere, and I just kept on coming.
And the reason why I stayed is because my dad stayed.
Shortly after we started attending, an old friend of mine from United College, Don Freem, became the pastor here. And we were felt even more at home.
And I thought, wow, this is the place to be. The minister was preaching and John Frame. And to us, not at us.
The choir.
Choir, for me especially.
Yes.
Marjorie Coop was the director at the time, and she knew what she was doing, so I figured this is the choir to be singing in. Because I had sung in choir since I was 13,
Well, you sang with the Philharmonic.
and sang with the Philharmonic for 10 or 15 years, so music was my life.
My daughter is still in the choir. She joined at 16 and she's still singing in the choir.
And with Jim's retirement, I got the role of treasurer for the church. And that's one thing about Fort Garry United Church. You get involved and it tends to extend more than 1 year. Like it's now about 21 years as helping out with the treasury of the church. I'm now almost retired. Replacements in place and doing well. So it's been a close family relationship, really.
I decided I'd like to be an usher. And at that time, I got to know the man that was at the soundboard. Now, that was Jerry Kinsman. And we got talking and he said, would you like to look at this soundboard? And so I said, yes, I like technical things. So he showed me that and then he showed how it operated. And after a few times, he said to me, he was thinking of retiring. Would you like to take over? So I did. And that was basically the challenge of my life in the church. The soundboard was kind of obsolete at the time, and I had to upgrade it as best I could.
I've been on and off the property committee ever since we came. It's fun. I love buildings. This one's challenging, and I love it.
And then I called myself for quite a while the bowling room widow, because after church, everybody would be up talking. Bruce would be downstairs.
Yes.
And those days, Fort Garry was, as well as being a church, it was kind of like a social club. Every month we had like a potluck supper, and downstairs, and we all brought something to eat, and we had music and we danced. And you know what I remember most about those potluck suppers and dances was that Don Ray was one of the best dancers I'd ever met. I was always anxious to have a few dances with him. So,
I had surgery about 4 years ago. And I had just been a new member of the ladies group because I was, retired and had the time now. And all of a sudden the doorbell rang when I came home from the hospital, and there were flowers from the women's group, and there were phone calls that followed. How are you doing? And I thought, wow, this is a really caring community. So I think we made the right choice.
I stayed because I really liked it. I mean, it was my contract, so I had to stay. But I enjoyed both times, particularly the first time in '92. So I stayed in contact or connected with folks over the years because I really appreciated the leadership and the courage of the congregation. When I was hired in 1992, it was still relatively new to have a gay or lesbian person in ministry. And Fort Garry actually had in the books that they didn't approve of gays and lesbians being in ministry, but they hired me to work with their youth, which I thought was a really courageous action at the time. The youth group from that 92 to 94, dear to my heart, because I carry so many stories of learning with them.
The Sunday schools and pink. You get cookies after everything, which is delicious.